Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe Jaquin solo. Man, all week I made it. It's been a long time since I did this much radio by myself. Jason, listen, he's trying. We'll see. Hopefully he'll be back Monday. Maybe not. He may miss all of next week as well. We've got Thanksgiving coming up next week. So just a reminder, we will be closed Thursday and Friday. Also another reminder today, because we don't work on Saturdays, you have to today to get any new people signed up for Texit that will be eligible when you have the 369 commissions, 3 points on the left, 3 points on the right, 6 points, 9 points. Those commissions that get paid out, they will no longer offer BOGO hash. So the hash right now for all of us miners, if we take hash as commission, we get double. They will no longer double it for anybody that signs up after today. For us, all of us that are already miners, you get grandfather. That's kind of the cool. So why would you sign up today versus say next week? Well, you get grandfather. So all of us will get BOGO hash. Anyone that comes after us will not. And then at 100,000 miners, we already know this. You cannot. They won't even give hash as an option for commissions. And again, you'd be grandfathered in. That does not affect anything else. Buy 5, get 1 free. Buy 9, get 2 free. All of those are still in effect. Anybody that wants to buy a large quantity of Texit coin, call us. $10,000 or more just today. Took $35,000. Full disclosure, as I promised. I promise you guys from the beginning, I will tell you what I'm doing. I've been telling you for the last week and a half that I've been buying, my wife and I have been buying Texit on the exchange. This morning, we put in $10,000 to buy more Texit coin. If you guys want to do, because you don't want to necessarily do that on the exchange because it'll drive the price really. Right now, Texit coin's like 370, doing pretty good here. Bitcoin, ugly day. We'll see. Bitcoin's right now 83,000. So if it can stay above 80,000, that'll be a good thing. If not, well, we've seen Bitcoin do this in the past. But if you want to put in a big order, call me and we can get it done for you. 800-951-0592. Having said that, we will focus in today. We had another voting member of the Fed. Real shocker, right? Because you got to remember, not all Fed governors get a vote. Right? You have Jay Powell, he gets a vote. You have the vice chair, she gets a vote. Now, remember, she's one of the finalists, and her name's escaping me right now. I don't know why, to replace Jay Powell. Then you have the New York Fed, right? He always gets a vote. He was the one talking today. Mirin, who, remember, he replaced Kubler. He was a Trump appointee. He has a vote. Essentially, I know this. After today, when Williams came out and said what I've been telling you all along, they're going to cut rates. Yes, he said that monetary policy is still restrictive, somewhat less restrictive, but I see room for further adjustments in the near term, i.e. rate cut. So when we look at who has a vote, we already know that 4 voters are going to vote for rate cuts already, right? And you're not going to have, 6-4. That won't happen. They will cut rates in December. And again, all the rest of this is just noise. All these people coming, I don't know, I need more data, noise. There is a major problem in the debt markets. Japan's in trouble. I don't know what's going to happen there. They've got a new, prime minister, president, whatever they call it over there. She is, like everybody else, right? Well, I want to spend some money. Go figure. The Japanese bond market is not happy. Jeff Gundlach did an interview the other day, and it's on allamericangold.com if you guys want to listen to it for yourself. Talking about, by the way, why is he important? Well, they call him the Bond King. That's his moniker, right? He's the Bond King. What does that mean? That just means he knows more about the bond market than anybody else, and it is something where he is paid very, very handsomely to make sure his clients, the uber wealthy, don't get hurt by the bond market. I'm going to tell you what he said when we get back. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, wrapping up the week on this Friday. What a crazy, you know what? It has rained 3-4 days in a row. We love the rain. Today it's cold today. It's gonna. I was told, my wife said it's going to rain again this weekend. We love it, but we are babies. The office is 74 degrees, and the girls are like, I'm freezing. Yes, no, it's it's not even 74 degrees outside. Yeah, it's actually kind of nice. But no one cares about that. A quick look in. So what is the Dow doing today? What a crazy week and a half ever since the Treasury Department said, hey, we've got to soon increase the auction sizes. Then the Federal Reserve said, hey, we got to stop quantitative tightening. But everybody knows, remember, Mark Cubana, remember, I was telling you guys, he is, when it comes to the Fed and the bond markets, he's the guy. Right? Because he will warn everybody that the Fed is going to be forced to intervene. And we've seen that in the repo markets. Matter of fact, Cubana is saying, listen, quantitative easing is coming. The Fed should do it now. They're not going to. They'll wait to the very last minute. But he's thinking at least, think about this, $100 billion a month at a minimum. Then Jeff Gundlach, he comes out and says, hey, guys, let me tell you how this is supposed to work. The Fed lowers rates. Yields go down. The dollar actually rallies on a rate cut, and because the assumption is, right, the economy will get better, right? He goes, listen, the Fed has already cut, a point and a quarter, point and a half already. So, we are in this rate cutting cycle. And he said, listen, the 2-year note is at the same rate that it was before the Fed started cutting. He goes, that's not supposed to happen. The dollar is down 10% since they've started cutting. He goes, that's not supposed to happen. And then, of course, worst of all, the longer-term rates are actually higher than when the Fed started cutting. And he goes, all of these things, these are just warnings as to what is going to happen and what is coming. And this is why I sit there when we talk about, what's gold going to do, what's silver going to do, and I'm so bullish on it because it's easy. It's not even complicated. And the biggest shift that we've seen is we've seen this throughout the central banks and how they've been increasing their buying. And look how they've been increasing their buying for like the last 3 years. These things take a while to play out. As I've told you, the Treasury is doing all kinds of tricks, selling monumental amounts of debt at very short durations. And of course, Gunglatch is saying, hey, guess what? All the stuff, like all the 5-year and 7-year and 10-year debt that's coming, they're all losers. Because the rates went up. Remember, how do you lose money on the bond market? Rates go up. Kind of it's the opposite of what you think. And I'll just say that he thinks that, in particular, when you look at 10, 20, 30-year rates, despite the Fed cutting rates, and he believes they're going to keep cutting just like I do, that the bond market is going to go over 6%. I have a hard time like that. I don't know how that works, right? And I'm sitting here, and of course, I think stagflation is what we're in for, because I don't think we're going to grow. And obviously, if the bond market does what the bond king is saying it's going to do, he went as far as he believes that we may end up essentially saying, hey, sorry, guys, we aren't going to pay that amount of interest. We are going to essentially default and tell all the holders of bonds that, yeah, I know we said we'd give you 6, 7, 8%. We're not going to. Obviously, that sounds insane to me. But, of course, Gunglatch said nobody will lend money again, but that would be a good thing. The refusal of the central bank and the federal government to address the debt issue is what is causing this event. This event is what he says is going to happen. They simply won't stop printing. And the only way he sees this working, and of course he's telling us, don't expect yields to go down. I don't know. That will be bad. Now, granted, I know that technically they really haven't, right? When we look at the bond market today, right, it's 407, but it's been above 4% the whole time they've cut rates. And they're going to cut again, and they're going to start quantitative easing again. And he even went in to talk about, hey, the one bright spot for the debt was the tariffs. And he said, it's not bringing in $500 or $1 trillion like the president says. He goes, but, it's bringing in money. Like for the year, we're going to maybe raise about $400 billion. Now, we collected like 190 some billion before, so we've added a couple $100 billion, right? Still, it's not nothing. And then he said, and now Donald Trump wants to give it all back, right? He wants $2,000 for everybody, right? He goes, it's something where nobody wants to deal with the issue, and the bond market is going to do it for them. And so think about the choices now when we're looking, because this gets a little deeper now. Remember yesterday I said, hey, there's a good chance they could revalue gold a lot higher than people think. And based on what I heard Jeff Gundlach say, you got to put that really on the table, because here's what he said. Hey, we'll just not pay it, right? Think about it. Hey, we're not paying you 6%, 7%, 8%, because that's where he says the rates are going. We just won't pay it, which would mean nobody would lend us money. And, of course, he's like, that's the idea. We've got to stop. The borrowing has to stop. Boy, that'll be ugly. You talk about a depression. So what else could they do? Because I get where he's coming from. They won't do that. What do I know? Maybe they would. I really think, okay, this is just breaking. The Federal Reserve will not get any inflation data before the next rate decision. Wow. They are canceling. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says they are canceling the October CPI release. All right, so essentially they're not going to get any jobs data according to the BLS, and now they're not going to get any inflation data. And, of course, they've got a meeting, a little over 3 weeks from now. Whoopee. They're going to cut rates. There you go. But revaluing gold to wipe away trillions of dollars in debt, a very viable option. Gundlach also was talking about, listen, I don't know how big the Fed's balance sheet can actually get. Right, and I was telling you, we're staring at the possibility of a Fed balance sheet, well north of $10 trillion. I don't know how that's going to work. And the need for the government to stop borrowing. I mean, he's calling for a stops, zero, not borrow at all. I don't know, guys. I hope you pay attention. I hope you understand. I hope I'm explaining it well enough. By the way, UBS has just raised their price target from $4,200 gold to $4,500 gold. They're talking about mid-year 2026. Also raised its longer-term possible spike. Now, if things don't go how we expect, don't rule out 4,900. So that's the polite way of these analysts telling you gold's going to 5,000. Hey, by the way, we're going to raise our target to 4,500. Oh, but it could be 4,900. When? Well, the next 6 months. Okay. I don't know. I don't know the day we wake up and there's a problem, a liquidity problem. the Fed hasn't been very good at seeing them ahead of time. And now we've got the biggest players in the game, right? Mark Cuban, Jeff Gundlach, both essentially saying the same thing in scary things. The bond market is at an inflection point. And I think this is everywhere. We're watching, Japan's long-term yields just blowing up. But when we talk about the inflection point, they're essentially both saying we've got to stop borrowing money. And, of course, that just means depression. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I think that's the last thing they're going to do. They're going to do everything else before that.
Yes, ma'am.
800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe Jaquin here on this Friday. John Williams, New York Fed president, backing the rate cuts. And the headline on the stock channel, one Fed official may have saved the market from another rout. It's been tough. Boy, yesterday, what a wild ride. They were excited about NVIDIA, then they weren't. The Dow was up like 700 points, and then it finished on like 300 again. Right now, the Dow's up 300, the S&P's up 30, the NASDAQ's only up 73. So that's kind of, again, the whole AI craze. We'll have to watch. Gold, here it comes, right? It is $4,075, down $4, but it was all the way down to $40.30 earlier. And silver getting ready to also mount a charge. Silver right below 50, but I don't think it's going to stay there. Bitcoin 83,000 right now. XRP down to $1 and change, $1.90 something. I can't believe that. That's, Well, again, what do we have today? It's a Friday. It's been a long week. I got a great opportunity. This may be, I'm super excited. I've got about 30 of each of these. Mint State 63 Saints, PCGS and NGC graded, $4,250. Yes, you heard me right. We don't sell graded coins very often. Why? Because they're, in my opinion, they're not worth the premium. Well, guess what? An ungraded, circulated $20 gold piece today, $4,295. I've got Mint State 63s for less than an ungraded 20, $4,250, but I'm not done. I've got Mint State 64 Saints, $4,275. Yep. MS63, MS64s, both under the regular $20 gold price. And that's just, listen, that's just free money. That's just all this is. 800-951-0592, MS63 Saints, 4,250. I mean, gold, 4,075. It's crazy. Mint State 64s at $42.75. That's only $200 over spot. What is that? It's not even 5%. Wow. For Mint State 64s, that's There you go. I can't do better than that. 800-951-0592. Yes, you can use your Texas coin if you like. However you want to pay for it, we'll get her done for you. Just call us. Dow's now up 400. So thank you, John Williams, for saving Wall Street today by saying what we already knew. The Fed is going to continue to cut rates, but the story of the day really coming out of the bond market and coming from Jeff Gundlach, who's just said, hey, it is not just a chance. No, it's probable that long-term U.S. debt will be priced significantly higher than what it is today. So think about today, right? The 20-year note was what, about 470, 475, right? The 30-year note kind of close to 5. And he's talking about 6, 7, 8. And essentially, I don't know how else to say it, but he essentially said, listen, the U.S. is going to default. I mean, that's what he said. Hey, they'll just not pay it. And just come back and say, hey, I know we said we'd pay you 6, 7, 8. We're going to pay you 2. Right? Something like that. I don't know. Boy, that'd put money markets, right? Because that's, who buys long-dated debt money markets, insurance companies, right? Pensions. I don't know. That just, and I think before that happens, they will do everything possible. But Gundlach essentially said that the United States is going to have to figure out how to stop going into debt. We're here. We're at an inflection point. Obviously, I think somebody else will fall for it. I'll look at Japan, right? That's kind of where I'm looking right now. But it doesn't really matter with Japan, Europe, China here. It doesn't matter. They're all tied together. I mean, look at just yesterday, California. Another $18 billion shortfall. They just, every time, it's nuts. The COVID money has run out. They've been having to cut back. Now they're saying, their fiscal year only started in July. Now they're like, oh, well, we got to find another $18 billion. And, oh, by the way, it's only going to get worse. And they expect the following budget to be $36 billion. And listen, and I'm going to tell you right now, 18's not enough. It's going to be worse. Chicago, wow. They just, they don't stop. And guys, this is what I'm saying. This is a problem everywhere. Chicago residents, apparently they sent out their tax bills for property. And they just threw on a bunch of extra fees because they were trying to cover another shortfall. And now they have county treasurers telling their homeowners, don't pay your bill. I don't know. Yeah. It's going to be wild. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. The graded special MS63 Saints 4250. Here you go. Here, gold just turned positive. 4,080 now. 4250 MS63 Saints. MS64 Saints 4,275. Why? Because we can. And again, when do we sell graded gold? When I can sell it to you for less than ungraded gold. That's when you buy it. Back up the truck there. Silver. Here it comes, down 60 cents. Getting ready to cross back over 50, 49.98. right now as New York Fed Governor Williams has saved the market with a rate cut. Oh, boy. Guys, it's not working. It's not working. We've had a bunch of rate cuts, and the bond yields haven't gotten better. As a matter of fact, the long end's gotten worse. We know, here's a few things that we know. Now we know the rates are getting cut, right, which we already knew that. Quantitative tightening, ends in 10 days. We'll see quantitative easing soon. How long? That'll be interesting to see how long. The sooner it comes, the worse it is, right? Then we have an issue where, according to the bond king, the long end of the market is going to go significantly higher from here. That is not something I had, planned or thought, right? Because that's not how it's supposed to work. I know that we talked yesterday pretty much at length about the problem on the long end of the yield curve, right? And the auctions are terrible. Nobody wants the paper. And it's amazing to me to hear, some of the most credible people in the world just come out and say, hey, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but don't be shocked if they just say, hey, we're changing the deal, right? We're essentially we are going to default again. Yes, and I said again. The last time the Fed changed the deal, 1971, when they said, hey, no, you can't get gold for your treasuries. Now Gunlott's just saying, hey, don't be surprised. Hey, I know we said we'd pay you 4, 5, 6, 7%. We're not gonna. No, I don't know. He didn't say like they'd pay some of it. Like, hey, we'll pay you 2% or 3%. I'm kind of speculating that, but maybe we pay none of it, right? Hey, we'll just give you your money back when the note comes due. I don't know. And of course, immediately Charles Payne says, well, that means no one will lend us any more money. And Jeff Gunlott just said, yes, exactly. I don't know. That'd be that'll be really bad. I'm just thinking about what would happen to Wall Street, what would happen to 401ks. How many banks go under? And they're saying it out loud. It's one thing, right? I get it. It's one thing if I say it, right? Who am I? Right? I've only been doing this 20-something years. But the bond king, this guy's on, listen, he's on Fox and CNBC every month. It's a lot. And every time he talks anywhere in the world, people pay attention. And I'm in disbelief today. I don't know. I knew it was bad. I guess I'm leaning more to, reprice the gold. Hell, make it 100,000. I don't know. Thomas Massey introduced legislation. I don't think it's going to pass, but it certainly would make a whole lot of sense. And wants two things to be done. Number one, Can we please get a real audit of the Federal Reserve? Whatever happened to that? Remember, we're going to go to the Fed, Donald Trump. Nowhere. And no one even talks about it anymore. They're like, oh, never mind, right? Someone pulled the president aside and said, yeah, stop saying that, right? And, of course, with the Epstein thing, I guess everyone forgot that he said it. And then, here's the other thing he's asking for. To make all of the gold meet requirements for delivery. What does that mean? We'll talk about it when we get back. 800-951-0592. I was going to talk about Massey & Gold. We'll have to do that another day. Breaking here. Now worries about the repo market at the end of the month. Remember, that's when we'll see the biggest spikes in the repo market. And one of BlackRock's private debt collateralized loan obligation funds failed, and BlackRock actually had to waive all fees and put money in just to keep the bad loans in compliance. Obviously, am I worried about BlackRock? No. Is private debt going to be a problem? Yes. The amount of what they're talking as a fiscal fire hose. Let's just put it this way. Gold's up 20, 4,100. Silver 50.25. Yeah, get ready. Hurry. MS63 Saints 42.50. My gosh. It's only $150 over spot for a 63. How about a 64? 42.75. It's only $175 over spot. I mean, that's 4%. That's it. It's nothing. Holy crap. 800-951-0592. And here's the funny part. The Dow's up 500 because, John Williams saved the day. We're going to cut more rates. It's funny. I think we may end up having quantitative easing sooner than we think. With the warning now that everyone is worried about how much borrowing the banks are going to have to do at the end of the month. That is always obviously right, because that's, when you think about it, the first of the month, the rent is due, the mortgage payments due, right, all that stuff. I don't know how big it will be. I'm guessing we're going to see something near a record amount of borrowing in the repo market. Obviously, quantitative tightening will be over. Will the Fed announce quantitative easing? We'll see. I think when they cut rates in December, if the long end of the yield curve does not budge, if we see a 10-year note stay above 4%, we could see quantitative easing as a way of them to try to drive these rates down. And really what that is saying is nobody wants to borrow, right? And again, I think when you see somebody like UBS say, hey, get ready for $4,900 gold, this is why, right? This is why. MS63 and 64 Saints. It's the greatest Friday ever. Gold's up $21 at 4,100. 42.50 for 63 Saints. 42.75 for 64